Something, this is awkward. We're talking serious here. You're gonna have to go back to your corner. Hello, fiber friends. Welcome to a Jillian sewing adventure. I made this vest that you see behind me, and it took me to some places I was not expecting to go. Very, very often, I just can't find anything that actually fits me. My proportions are just not the kind of proportions that have been built into commercial patterns. I'm always hopeful, and I kind of look for the things that I could maybe modify, tailor, adjust to fit me better, but I usually end up disappointed. But we're gonna go try and we'll see what we find. I'm either a 24 or a 36, depending on which measurements I'm looking at. That's quite a range. I've actually gotten both before when I was doing a dress. I feel like I might not be alone in that frustration. And I figure if I'm buying multiple packets of patterns so that I can tape and glue things together or whatever to figure out which lines I'm tracing out, I might as well be pattern drafting myself. Last spring, I went to H&H Americas. It is a trade show. At H&H, I met two brothers. Their mother invented the Letterlow system. They showed me how their system works. You take your body measurements and then you use their ruler and you can draw out your pattern from there. I'll show you how it works. It's really cool. And it's based on your own measurements. Here's how I did the vest. I started by taking my own measurements. I placed a pin at the center of the pattern for each piece of the vest. I made a mark at the correlating place on the ruler that matched what my measurements were. I used their tailor's curves to draw the lines and connect the dots. Finally, I cut out the whole pattern and I was ready to go. Next, I needed to figure out what fabric I would use for this vest. I had a box of wool that I had gotten. It was a grab bag box. Everything in it was random. It came with just remnants, extras, leftovers. Of course, a wool tweed is going to be perfect for a tailored vest, and there are reasons for that. I did a deep dive, it was fascinating. So if you are not very familiar with the history and you like falling in a rabbit hole on the internet, I highly recommend getting into some Scottish history and learning about tweeds because they are very interesting. It is very much associated with Scotland, although there is tweed from Ireland as well. Tweed was originally worn by farmers and people working outside because it's a durable wool fabric and it keeps people warm and protected from the elements. In the 19th century, many Scottish estates were being sold or rented out. There was a story I read about someone who showed up and tried to wear the local clan tartan, and they were not from that area, and the locals were not happy with these foreigners wearing their tartan. But the people coming to these estates wanted to have something that would sort of identify who was with them, who was part of their estate. That's how we got estate tweeds. And so they became very popular with aristocracy who was coming to visit and go hunting and do countryside things. One more interesting historical fact about these tweeds, and that is that they were the precursor for the modern camouflage military uniform. Because when people are out hunting and they are blending in with the terrain around them because they don't want to scare the birds off, they realized like maybe bright red isn't the best thing to put our soldiers in. Another interesting fact, the first ascent of Mount Everest was accompanied by tweed fabric. This specific pattern is called the Glen Urquhart check. Sometimes it's also referred to as the Glen tweed or the Glen check. This pattern originated in the Glen Urquhart Valley in Inverness-shire, Scotland. The Prince of Wales, Edward VII, was one of the people who traveled to this area who was out hunting, and he really liked this particular pattern. So he brought it back to his tailors in London. So that is where the Prince of Wales tweed comes from. The Glen check / Urquhart check / Prince of Wales tweed pattern became even more popular when Cary Grant wore an iconic suit in the movie North by Northwest. And I believe in Bernadette Banner's Lady Sherlock series, her Lady Sherlock suit was done in a brown Glen check. This piece of wool tweed had some errors in the pattern, and that fascinated me.
This is what the Glen check should look like. The stripes are going lengthwise and widthwise. What that means is that we have a certain order of thread color. In this section, we are going to alternate. So it's 2 threads of each color. It's going to go light, light, dark, dark, light, light, dark, dark. When we get to this section here, we are going to have 4 of each color. So it's going to go light, 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 dark, 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 dark. So 4 light, 4 dark. So when we weave back and forth here, again, we are going to go 2 light, 2 dark, 2 light, 2 dark. And when we get here, we are going to go 4 light, 4 dark, 4 light, 4 dark. And where the different sections intersect, we will get different patterns. Some of you might recognize that this is a houndstooth right here. You can see that this is 4, 4, 4, 4 of each color, and 4, 4, 4, 4 of each color. And they come together to make that houndstooth. Well, what happens if you don't do all of the sideways weft color changes? What happens if you're weaving this and you don't change back to the 2 of each color? You just keep doing 4 of each color.
This is the section that I cut the back piece out for my vest. So I've kind of scrunched it a little shorter. Just pretend that this is longer because it is on the actual vest. But I want to show you this piece of fabric. What happened in here is that it stayed on houndstooth. We had 2 threads of each color this way and 2 threads of each color this way, and it never switched. It never went back to the 1 of each color alternating. And it gave a huge section of only houndstooth. And you can see further that we didn't get the alternating going the other direction because this whole section right here doesn't have any stripes going the other way. This isn't a check. This is just like stripy stripes with houndstooth. This actually turned out to be the perfect fabric for this vest because I had exactly enough. Here is the back piece of the vest. And you can see the entire thing is houndstooth. It's all houndstooth. And now if I swing you around to the front, you will see what I did here. And I am so proud of this, friends. This came out just exactly how I envisioned it. And I love it when that happens. It's so exciting. I cut out the 2 front panels so that these stripes would match in their placement. It's not pattern matching, it's pattern symmetry. Ooh. And if we go all the way down to the front, we get to the point where the horizontal weft stripes started up again. I guess at that point it kind of is pattern matching, isn't it? My vest is practically done. The last thing I need to do, aside from clipping a few threads, which, you know, I'll be doing that till the first time I wear it and then some, I just need to add some buttons.
These might be the buttons.
Stealth nerd buttons, which means that you're only gonna understand how nerdy they are if you are of the fandom. And I just want to say that I'm undercover. I've never used the buttonhole attachment on my Singer Curvy for an actual project, so this will be a fun time to break that in on the thing that's almost finished and beautiful that I'm really proud of. Let's cross our fingers and hope that I can get all of these buttons in the first time. Friends, if you have been a longtime viewer, you will have noticed that I have not been posting as frequently as I usually do. And I want to explain why, but I'm going to talk a little bit about body dysmorphia. So if that's a conversation you don't want to hear about, if you're not in a good place to hear that, go ahead and skip to this time, and I'll see you then. Over the summer, I made a video, and I was very excited and very proud of the video. And then I got a comment on that video. I don't actually care what that person thinks about me. They're blocked. They can't come to my channel anymore. But that comment really set off this very critical voice that I have in my head about the shape of my body. A lot of YouTubers don't talk about this part of doing YouTube, but it is a very real part of doing YouTube, which is that we who do our own editing get to look at ourselves a lot for hours. Imagine looking at yourself in the mirror for like 10 hours. Sometimes my videos take 10 hours to edit. And besides that, it's not even just like looking in a mirror, because we get to see all the angles of ourselves if we are recording, you know, other angles than just like shoulders up. I've been through some really wild health things, and I've taken medications to deal with those health issues that have caused my weight to really fluctuate. And every time I look at myself and I get surprised at what size I am, it reminds me of everything I've been through, including the first time that I went back to the doctor and said, hey, I am gaining a lot of weight and I haven't changed my diet. Is this normal? This shouldn't be happening. The doctor told me, let's worry about saving your life and you can worry about the weight later. I need to remind myself I'm here and I've survived some rough stuff. I don't want to be specific because I don't want the comments to fill up with people giving well-intentioned advice. I have an endocrinologist for that. But yeah, so that comment just really set off a bit of a spiral over the summer, and I had to work through some of that. I do have a therapist, so I won't make you my therapist, don't worry. But I did feel like I owed a bit of an explanation as to where I've been with my YouTube videos. Self-esteem is something that can be wounded, and sometimes it needs a little time to heal. And so that's just been where I've been at over the summer. I am recording again. I feel like I'm in a good place to do that now. And I have a moderator who will check the comments before I read them. So anything like that is going to be banned and blocked. And don't worry, it's probably not going to be you. This was a really bad one. Like, it was really bad. If you're a regular viewer, I don't think you're going to be that. So don't worry. But yeah, so a ways to go, making progress. I just finished understitching the facings on the armholes. I should probably go to bed because it's very late, going on 1 o'clock a.m. Or I could just turn and sew the facings real quick so I don't have to do it tomorrow. I could get it done faster if I don't use pins. I'll just hold it together. It'll be fine. Basting is for nerds. Good thing I remembered to backstitch. I'll do one more, just to make sure that this thread is very secure. This is a sewing machine that Mark found in the trash. It's a Kenmore, some number I can't remember, and it's very well known for being finicky. But I don't need to test my stitch tension. I'm sure it's fine. Did I press my seams after understitching? I can't remember. It's probably fine. We're beyond this. Hopefully not. Seriously, why though? But it wasn't that bad. Oh yes, I earned it. The next day, after I spent an hour ripping out the wonky stitches that resulted from whatever I was doing at 1 in the morning that I had no business doing. Wait, where was I? Yeah, basically, I had finished the understitching. I took it to the ironing board and pressed those seams. Then I folded under the hem and pressed it again. Then I pinned all the way around because I had to massage it to get the fabric to fit without wrinkling, bunching, or doing weird stuff. After that, I basted it so that I could remove all the pins, and I pressed it again because it's a good idea. Then I went in with my final stitch, and it looks beautiful. Shortcuts in sewing are never short, at least for me. If you all have a faster way to do armholes, I don't like armholes. It's a trust the process situation for me. I don't like them, and I need to actually do all the steps, or I just spend more extra time with them. All right, what do we think of my vest? I think it fits pretty darn well. I did go back and make a couple changes. I took out the stitching that was around the armholes. It's not really the style of the vest to have that there. I just like it because I like stitches. I think they're pretty. But then I came to my senses and I ripped it out. So all of the finishing for the facings, they're tacked at the seam on the top and the bottom, and it's all inside and discreet stitches. And I left it on the front because I don't know, I like it. I like a nice straight line of even stitches. I just think it's beautiful. That's just me, and it's my vest, and I can do what I want. So I will. I think that it fits very well. I think there's possibly a couple things I would do. Possibly do a sway back adjustment in the back. I don't know. Maybe raise I don't know. Something in the back. There's a little bit of bunching back there, but I can figure that out later. And I think the shoulders, I think I could have come in maybe an inch on the shoulders and they would have been fine, but it's not inhibiting my movement or anything. Like, it fits very well in that regard and stays put. It doesn't bunch or tug or do anything weird. And I absolutely love my buttons. These are the best. These are my stealth nerd buttons. I was just thinking though, like, what if I'm wearing this and people see it and then they know what it is and they're like, oh my gosh, does she know that she's wearing Star Wars buttons? And they don't say anything. I don't know. I hope people would say something. I hope they would, like, I don't know, nerd out with me or something, because that's fun. But anyway, I'm very happy with this vest. I'm not happy with the shirt under it, but I haven't made a shirt to go under it. I will be dyeing this shirt black because I like it better. And I can't keep a white shirt. I will get something on it. It's inevitable. So I might as well just do this to start with and not worry about it later. Now that I have my secret nerdy vest, I think it's time for a spinning project.